into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
All right, a little disclaimer. We chose this because it's a Christmas song, it's Happy Holidays time, and they say forever in it.
Yeah.
We've said we're going to use every song that has forever in the lyrics for this after show. Welcome to the Forever AfterBuzz After Show. I am your host, Kate Aquillano, joined by my lovely co-host,
Pegah Rad. Hi, everyone. Hello. Marielou Mandl over here. Hey, guys. It's Kanika Lal.
You guys, this is Season 1, Episode 11, the winter finale, amazingly called Skinny Dipper.
Wowzers.
Like, initial reactions.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
I mean, I was blown away.
Yeah.
Blown away on the edge of my seat.
Exactly, edge of my seat. What about you two?
One of my favorite episodes this season. And, we've been through so much together, and it's come to a place where we know something.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's very exciting.
Well, we're going to get into this episode, but I just want to let you guys know that Lieutenant Reece herself, Lorraine Toussaint, is calling in any minute. So we'll just get started on the episode, and when she calls in, we'll jump into it. But this kind of is a continuation of the last couple minutes of last episode, where Adam is in the taxi, Henry gets into the taxi, and then the last episode ends, and you're just like, what is gonna happen?
Which, like, we're not fearful for his life, because obviously what's the worst that can happen, but you're like, where is he taking it? Like,
where is he going?
Yeah, it's always curious to see how he dies. We know that he does. In this case, he was drowned. It's not the most,
That's going to be
way.
excruciating.
It's like...
It reminded me, I said, has anyone seen The Illusionist, this movie is it Hugh Jackman?
Yes, Hugh Jackman.
Oh, crazy movie. But I was kind of second guessing because Adam kills himself because he doesn't think that Henry believes he's immortal. I don't think Henry's ever questioned that.
I don't think so either.
So I'm not sure why he did that.
For flair, and the guy's kind of crazy. I think after
that was like the foreshadowing, the insane stuff that was coming up.
He's a little nuts.
He's a little nuts. Okay, so then some hilarity ensues. Our phones are making noise. Cell phones are away. I'm sorry, guys. Some hilarity ensues when Henry, of course, emerges naked from the water. And it's amazing.
Yeah, and Lieutenant Reece is like, really, explain yourself. Like,
her face.
Her
face.
That's
amazing.
And he's like, I'm a sleepwalker. And really tries to play that, which she bought it, right?
And then she's like, so why were you naked?
I sleep naked. She's been through a lot with Henry. He has a lot of quirks. It's surprising how long she's lasted.
Yeah, their relationship. I want to ask her when she comes on. Like, their relationship has definitely developed over the last few episodes, and I hope that continues because they have a fun little back and forth banner.
Yeah.
All right, so we just tell Henry to invest in some pajamas, and then we go to the autopsy with Raj Patel, who is the taxi driver that Adam kills and steals the taxi from.
Right.
And it's kind of funny because he's like, he was a taxi driver, and Lucas was like, so how do you know that?
And he's like, oh yeah,
he's a sunburn on his elbow and his right
that
leg.
Totally can tell he's a taxi driver.
Yeah. Or he's ever driven in a car.
Exactly.
So he sees the sword wound, and he's like, this is all piecing together. He goes home to Abe, and Abe is throughout this whole episode suggesting that Henry bring Joe into the secret.
Yeah.
Did you think it was going to happen this episode that Henry would tell Joe?
At first I didn't, but then when, we'll get to that part where she actually comes down to the basement, I for sure thought it was going to happen.
What about you guys?
The way it was led up to, I just thought like the only secret that would be let out is the Adam secret, not yet Detective Jo knowing, but she has to know eventually. That's been like my prediction for so long. So hopefully.
I don't think that it was going to happen in this episode.
They can't.
But because he's like nervous, because they keep doing these flashbacks to his wife Nora and how things went really bad there. But Abigail knew, which is more recent in times. So, I mean, why are you still sad about it?
For a moment, I thought Abe was just going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, just tell her. You know, I thought he was going to be like, listen, Joe, here's the truth. Like,
but beside Henry, I'll just deal with it finally.
Yeah. But no.
Yeah. No. Yeah, you mentioned the flashbacks. They go to Nora, who he thinks betrayed him because she thought he was mentally ill for thinking he was immortal. So, yeah, he has this kind of worry about letting someone in on that secret.
Yeah, he trusted her.
Yeah.
His wife.
Yeah, but as the wife, I don't know if I would react any differently. You know, if your husband comes up and he's like, I'm immortal, you want to see this?
I mean, I wouldn't send him to an insane asylum, but I don't know.
Yeah. See, I don't know if I'd believe him, but I wouldn't send him away. But then if that means he's going to live, maybe, I don't know. I guess
It's hard.
You guys, I'm going to go. Lorraine's trying to call in. Take away this interview. I'm going to go try.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get Lorraine
Okay,
on.
so we got it.
Awesome.
We got the flashback of
Nora
being like leaving him there in jail or in the insane asylum.
And then we go to the cab. Where
Yes.
they investigate. That was intense.
Yes,
Okay.
because we all are like, the watch.
Yeah.
The
it's
watch.
always the pocket watch that gives it away.
The watch is in the cab.
So they pull it out and they find all these clues that the gunshot was from inside of the cab, not coming out from out.
It was from an antique gun.
From an antique gun, which Hanson's father, we learned something a little bit about Hanson, is that his father collected guns and he knows guns really well, and it's from an antique gun. And so they're saying, you know, why would a taxi driver have
this kind of gun.
This old?
They see scratch marks, like someone wanted to get out.
And alongside with the stab wounds of the sword. Like, they're like, oh, definitely a sword. So, you know, of course, Henry's right. But then Henry's in the back seat. He's freaking out a little bit.
Yeah.
And Joe sees this.
First of all, I want to make a point that I think it's so interesting that it's kind of like the first time where we see an investigation scene that Henry, that someone part of the team was part of, that was there that night, you know? So it shows Henry just like spacing out, like, oh my God, I was here and I'm seeing the crime scene. It must be so crazy for him.
Yeah, he really is like kind of freaking out. Like his face
This
is
whole
just like,
episode,
oh my gosh.
Thinking.
And he probably has a little bit of a drowning phobia because he always ends up in water, plus the waterboarding thing. Yeah. So I saw kind of that fear layer on him.
I'm jumping back in.
Welcome back.
Hi, guys.
We're talking about Henry blanking out and freaking out and being really emotional because of his...
Like always.
Yeah. Like always. Yeah.
All of us are in the screening and we're watching this and we're like, the watch. And then Joe picks it up and we're like, oh no.
That's what I thought she was gonna, like, she was picking up on something's weird here. Why is he involved? And then, like, she asked about, like, DNA on the scratch marks and, like, is something going to be revealed here?
Yeah. She's a good detective.
She is.
I honestly... Oh, is she on?
Lorraine, are you with us?
I am.
Oh, my goodness. Hi. How are you?
Hi.
Welcome to AFTERBUZZ. I want to thank you for staying up so late. I know that it's like 2 a.m. on the East Coast.
Yeah.
But
good morning.
Yes, good morning. But I'm hoping that you weren't sleeping and you were out partying because you were just nominated for an NAACP award. Congratulations.
I know.
Yes,
Thank you. That's kind of fun, isn't it?
Yes, and that's one of
yes.
my favorite characters ever on television is V from Orange is the New Black. So thank you for creating her. Like, I love her so much.
Oh, my pleasure. You're very welcome. I gave a lot of people a lot of love and hate at the same time.
Yes, and it was great to see like a strong female that was like also a villain and you still liked her. It was just all of the things that they don't always give to women characters. So it was fabulous to see.
Thanks. It was fun to play.
So I read in an interview that you said that a lot of you is in V. Is there a lot of you also in Lieutenant Reece? And how does that compare, being like one's on the good side of the cops, the other one's on the bad side of the law?
I guess they're all inside of me. One of them I'm happy to lead with. The other one I'm happy to have go back to sleep. You can guess which one is which.
Yeah. Do they haunt you at night?
Not at all. Not at all. I actually I've not even taken much. I haven't even seen what I've done as V, because I think she might actually be too scary to actually watch.
Like, I can't watch that.
Well, people are liking it.
No. V scares me. So,
Well, at least you got to be on now and forever, and you're like, I read that you were wanting to sink your teeth more into like some fantasy and sci-fi roles, but this one you're just kind of in it, but not really in the sci-fi part of it quite yet.
I'm just kind of rubbing up against it. Yeah.
Yes. Is there a dream role for you in a sci-fi fantasy genre?
Oh gosh, yes. You know, the sort of nun-like, witch-like,
Interesting.
space traveling.
Yes.
Captain who rides bareback on a unicorn. Yes.
She sounds wonderful. Let's write this movie.
Amazing. Let's get back to Forever. I was just telling the ladies how I love that Lieutenant Reece and Henry have been developing this relationship more and more over the last couple episodes, and I'm hoping that continues. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I'm hoping that it continues too. Certainly when I talked to Matt Miller, it's certainly one of the things he wants to be doing in the second half of the series is, Ioan and I really, when we got this episode that you saw tonight, we both kind of were a little bit tickled because we thought, oh, great, because we like the direction in which these two are going, where he was actually able to kind of fluster Reece just to ruffle her feathers just a little bit, because as large and in charge as she is, I think Henry has the ability to really kind of get under her skin in different kinds of ways that even surprises her. I like that quality. It's really going in a fun direction.
Yeah, you can't really quite read your reaction, because when he's in your office after being found naked, and I mean, your face was amazing.
I mean, just the thought of
Comical.
Amazing.
Just the visual of Henry naked is too much for Reece.
But then when he tells you about the stalker, you're so behind him and supportive, surprisingly supportive. So I like how you don't quite know how Lieutenant Reece is going to react.
Yeah, I liked that turn too. I find myself liking Reece a lot in this episode because, you know, Henry's such a charming character. Everyone loves Henry, and you know, anybody who's going to keep dogging on him nobody's going to like that person for very long. And so I was really glad to see me choosing sides, really actively choosing sides, maybe for the very first time, and choosing Henry's side. I've kind of welcomed him into my pack as the alpha dog, as it were.
Yeah, that moment really solidified for me that Henry's part of the team, real part of the team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a question from a fan on Twitter, Cheryl. She wants to know, have we received any backstory on Reece, or will we see it soon?
You know, I think you're going to begin to see some backstory on Reece. Yeah. I'm not gonna.
I was like, can you tease anything for us?
But certainly, Matt Miller and I have been talking about some kind of fun backstory that the two Joanne and Joe have in common.
Okay.
There's some interesting backstory. Yeah.
All right.
Actually, I read that you worked with retired NYPD officers to kind of prepare for your role. Can you share with us some fun or memorable times you had with them on set, and you know what you kind of learned?
Yeah, there was that great episode when we were at the shooting range and went out to an NYPD retired lieutenant came out to teach me how not just how to shoot. I'd shot. I've discharged a weapon before as before. But how to shoot like a lieutenant, because there's a certain amount of swagger that he was telling me, and he kept using the word over and over. You know, you got a swagger. You know, these guys are tough. You know, these guys are like tough. And to be a woman in this role, and to be a black woman, it's like you're the smartest person in the room. You know,
Wow.
he was stroking me every which way possible.
That must have felt really good.
I really do think you've brought
He's a tough old
that.
guy, but I think the greatest compliment I got was after the scene and after we did shoot, he just came up and said, "Yeah, nice."
Nice.
Wow.
You got the swagger. You definitely have it.
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely
okay, great. Did it right.
No, you're definitely inspiration, though, for many females out there. You have girl power written all over you, so good for you on that.
Yeah. Thanks.
So speaking of the NYPD, I read that you were raised in Brooklyn. So how is it, being part of such an iconic police department and filming such like a New York show? Do you love it?
It brings back a lot of memories. I shot an episode in the Brooklyn Museum a few months ago, and I grew up two apartment buildings down from that location.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Literally. And so my daughter, who's 10, oh my God, I bored the tears out of her. Like taking her to, on this corner there used to be the butcher. And the butcher, I loved the butcher because I thought I wanted to actually be a butcher because I had such a crush on the butcher. And the butcher was right here. And then, of course, this is when Kevin Rainey kissed me on the corner. On this corner is where I first got.
Oh my goodness.
Over it, but it was really interesting to be back in the old neighborhood. It was it's the old neighborhood. It ain't the old neighborhood anymore, too. Brooklyn's really changed. It's gotten so chic.
Right.
When I lived here, it was like, you live where and why? Why? Where is Brooklyn exactly?
Yeah.
Well, kind of going back to today's finale, winter finale. How long did you know who Adam was, and when you found out, when you found out the script for this episode, what were your reactions? This was definitely one of our favorite episodes. It was very intense. So
Yes.
what were your thoughts on that?
I'm so suspicious of the Adam character because I don't know what's coming down the pipe. Part of me, even watching it tonight, thought, yeah, but is he really that guy? Is he really the Adam? Because
True.
I'm sure he is, but
Hey, you never know.
Yeah, this has a lot of
you
twists.
just
So
never know, And that Moriarty character is such an interesting presence in Henry's psyche, also, and now to have him show up is so odd.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I know that you are on Twitter and you're big on Twitter, but #anonymous caller was trending. So we had the world talking about this episode tonight. So I'm so glad because I know, Forever had a couple episodes start and it got, more and more episodes picked up.
Yeah.
Do you see this keep going? Second season, third season? I hope so.
I should. I hope so. I think it's the little train that could. I think we've just been a lovely little sleeper that people, because everyone that takes a look at it seems to go, I like that show. And the more I mention it, yeah, I watched that show. I like it. People are always saying it with a bit of surprise. No, I didn't think but I really like that show. So, I'm hoping that that's the way you build a sleeper. And so, I'm fingers crossed. I wouldn't mind being here. Forever in TV is 5 to 7 years. That's forever.
We wouldn't mind that either. We love it.
Now, I know we're
good.
going on a hiatus with the show, but you have a big film coming out, Selma, on Christmas Day. Can you tell us about that and your character?
Oh yeah, Ava DuVernay's film Selma, which has just been screening to just such lovely acclaim. It's about Martin Luther King's march from Selma to Montgomery.
Wow.
And we all play historical characters. And I play Miss Amelia Boynton, who is one of the unsung female heroes of the civil rights movement. She invited Martin Luther King to Selma, and she is a real character and very much alive. I met Miss Amelia, who's 103.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
I did. It was crazy. You just really sit in this woman's presence, especially when you see the film and you see some of the things that she has lived through, and the extraordinary will and fight that she put up to get the Voting Rights Act. It was really humbling.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
a wonderful film.
I cannot
Oprah
wait.
produced it with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be good. I can't wait.
Yeah. Christmas Day.
Yes.
Christmas Day. Everyone go see it. So we've had, I emailed you today that we've had a couple people on the show, and everyone is so nice. Joel, Donnie, Matt Miller, who's on set from time to time. I just wanted any stories from the set having nothing to do with the actual acting or script, just hanging out with these guys. They all seem so down to earth and just like a really great group.
Yeah, we are. You know, we kind of pinch ourselves because it isn't always that way, and it's not great when it's not this way. But you know, most of us are. we're family people. We've got small children, and we've moved our families back to New York City, and we're like this little village, and everyone. I know it's so uninteresting, but everyone is very nice, and we all actually like each other. Like going to work, and we talk about our kids and our dogs that have been flown over, and it's actually quite normal, which feels so good, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, do the kids get to stay on set? Is there like a school on set for everyone's children?
That'd be cool.
Well, no, it's maybe it's not quite normal. My daughter's she's enrolled in school here in New York City for a year. Hopefully, a year to 5 years.
Yes.
Yes.
But she comes to set after school, and she's got a little desk in my dressing room. She does homework, and we have dinner, and then, if I'm working late, she goes home, and I come home and tuck her in and take her to school in the morning, most mornings, and it's actually quite lovely.
Oh, that sounds
Sounds
lovely.
like,
That
yeah.
sounds very normal. I'm excited to hear what the opposition to normal.
Yeah.
What it's like being crazy on set. I want to hear those stories.
I know. It's weird because my daughter, she's grown up. When she's a child, she just say, "Oh, my mommy works in a cave," because that's what a soundstage looked like to her. Oh, mommy, are you going to the cave? I go, yeah, mommy's going to the cave.
That's
But
awesome.
she's 10 now, you said? Did you say
Huh?
she's 10 years old now?
She's 10 years old now. Yeah.
So do you find that she is more interested in production since she's been around it, or is she completely uninterested?
About 2 years ago, she said, Mom, I thought I wanted to be an actress, but it's just too much work. And I breathed such a sigh of relief. She's so far she's going to be a vet, which is really great.
Nice.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Love it. Well, thank you, Lorraine, so much for joining us. We really enjoyed talking with you. We want to keep this little engine that is forever going. Where can fans interact with you on Twitter? What's your Twitter handle?
LP Toussaint.
All right, you guys.
Thank you so
Ask her
much.
questions. Yes, happy holidays.
Thank you so much, you guys. It was fun.
Congratulations again on your
We're
nomination.
rooting for you.
Yes.
Yes, and rest
Thanks a
well.
lot.
We're hoping for more Lieutenant Reece all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a
Thank
good one.
you.
night.
Me too.
Bye-bye.
She's great.
I love her so much.
Another
Love her.
sweetheart.
That's the thing. That's what I mean. They all seem. I mean, they are.
They all are amazing.
are amazing, and I think that's such a. I think crazy sets produce great television too, but I think you can kind of see it in the way they interact on the show, how well they get along off camera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
So, all right. Well, where were you guys since I was making
the
some
watch.
phone calls?
The watch.
Oh, Joanna
The watch.
or Joe found the watch.
Joe found the watch, which I honestly did not think that was gonna be. I thought that was like a
fake thing.
yeah,
That exactly. I thought
didn't
she was
think that-
picking up on some clues.
right. But like I didn't think that the writers were gonna give away.
Not too soon.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we go. He goes home, gets Abe, and he goes back to the pier with him to find, because they find the bullet casing in the car. So he's like, the gun must be here somewhere. Abe spots it, and he like starts undressing again to take a swim in the Hudson.
And we know what's coming.
Yeah.
Because he was told no more swimming in the lake. In the river.
Yeah,
The body
and there he
water.
goes
What
But
is
it
it?
was for official police business.
And then he pulls out goggles that he got from
Hanson.
Hanson.
Oh my god.
It's funny. And then of course, whoop whoop.
Of course.
Nope. Sorry, bro.
But now that he has a second, I mean, this isn't just a second offense. This is multiple offenses. Lieutenant Reece makes him go see a therapist, which is just,
Who's a creepy therapist?
I mean,
And
these two right here called it.
they did.
I
They
was like,
called
I
it.
swear that's Adam.
But we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Okay.
So we have another flashback of him in is it a mental hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was triggered by the idea of therapy.
Yeah.
And he had a
Seeing
bad
shrink.
experience
With therapy. Very bad.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Because they did hydrotherapy.
Yes.
For him to kind of get out of his head that he's immortal.
Which was very scientific. Isn't that supposed to be interesting, like to see the dynamic between science and magic in this episode?
There-
Or in this whole series.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Side
that's
note.
definitely
Side note.
no. It's definitely a theme throughout all of them.
Yeah.
So he goes to the therapist's office, and of course, you two are like, "This guy is really creepy." He was, and he was British. He had,
Oh, British people.
well, I mean, like,
And he knew things about Henry.
This is what I picked up on. He was
Yeah.
like, "Is there someone you can talk to?" And he goes, "I have Abe," and he goes, "Someone your own age." And I'm like, how the heck does he know
Yeah.
Abe's age?
And
That's Adam.
I'm
Like,
surprised Henry was like,
mic
wait
drop.
a minute, like, how do you know? Because
Yeah.
Henry catches on to these things, but maybe he was so emotionally distraught, he was like, whatever, just keep asking me questions, you know what I mean? Like, he would have caught on otherwise.
Yeah, for as sharp as Henry is, he just let that one just fly right over him. But aside from all of those little facts that you guys picked up on, the moment I heard this guy's voice, I was like,
Yes.
it's him, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to wait. And then I heard him talking more in certain ways that he would
Yeah.
talk, and like his voice would hit that low level of like, oh my God, that's him. It has to be him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then as far as like tricking Henry, he's got a lot of years on him, so I feel like
Right.
he made a choice to be a British, doctor.
Right.
So he could like connect with Henry in a different way, because when he's on the phone as Adam, he's not British.
British.
I mean, he might actually be, but he probably can do every dialect and every language.
I mean, he is like
Every accent.
3,000 years old or however old he is.
He's like, I spent 300 years learning everything. Now what do I do?
Now I
God.
just kill people because I'm insane.
Great.
So while he's at the therapist's office, Detective Martinez and Hanson find the gun that was used in the cab, and they find out it's registered to a Richard Smite. They go to his apartment, and it was disgusting. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna throw it out there.
So gory.
There was like an autopsy of Richard just in the back room, and
And at first
yeah.
I saw whatever it was that was like
The
around.
strap?
I thought it was like body parts. That's why I was like, ew. And then I'm like, oh wait, no, that's just a strap. And then it's like his chest is open.
And it was actually
And then it
really
was
seriously.
actually
And then it gets a little. It just like the layers keep building in this episode.
Layers
They-
like the body that's open.
I
And I do have to give a shout out to the makeup and the prosthetics
Yes.
people. Amazing.
It was good.
And the makeup on, especially the ladies like Joe and Lieutenant Reece, flawless.
Oh, yeah.
Flawless.
For
that
sure.
hair.
They probably don't
Give it
need
to me.
much, but
No.
The
flawless.
volume on that here, yeah,
Yes.
definitely. Good
But
point.
I would love to hear from that team if it's
Yeah.
like the same that do the special effects makeup, that do
Ooh,
the
that'd
beauty
be
makeup.
fun.
I bet
Right.
it's just probably one of the funnest jobs
Especially
ever.
when they show the flashbacks. I love the outfits.
You get
and the
period
different
stuff. You get to do
genres.
everything.
You do get to do
Yeah.
like every part of the job.
What a
That's
fun
amazing.
job.
It is.
one day in our next life we'll be the makeup artist on Forever. So they bring Henry in to see this body, and he, I don't know, because he's Dr. Morgan, realizes that he's been cut open with a hunting knife. Sparks, oh, I have a hunting knife. And we saw in the preview for this episode that he plants he uses his own knife with, you know, the blood on it. How did you, what was your reaction at this point where you he's just going to be framed and there's nothing we can do about it unless he reveals his secret?
Yeah, I definitely got a lot of anxiety knowing that it's just getting closer and closer to them finding out. Did I think that he was going to come clean with it yet? Still no. Because knowing Henry, he'll find some way to wiggle his way out of a story or whatever.
Yeah. There was a small part of me that thought maybe he gets caught and maybe they think he's guilty. Maybe he gets arrested and that's the end of it, you know, next series. But I was like, no.
Yeah, because that would have been an interesting cliffhanger if he was in jail.
And how do you...
where do they move forward with that?
How do you explain this?
Right. Yeah, but I was surprised when Lucas said these are Henry's brushstrokes that he didn't catch that. Now, I know that Henry's dealing with uncharted territory. He's never dealt with somebody more immortal than him.
Well, he didn't look at the body. Remember, he leaves and goes...
Oh, he doesn't even get that close. He saw enough to know that it was a hunting knife.
Yeah, that's true. He should have picked up on that.
Yeah.
I feel like typical Henry wouldn't, but he's emotionally distraught.
There's a lot going on.
Adam is his kryptonite. He just can't focus. He can't think clearly. He's not the Henry he normally is when Adam's around.
When someone's like, I'm going to kill you, I don't think he can think.
He's not thinking clearly.
It's very much like the Sherlock and Moriarty. How do we say it? I knew it.
I can't say it. I'm not even going to try.
The
You know what we mean.
The back guy. I know what it is.
She's going to yell it in 5 minutes. She's going to be like,
but yes, it's I love that we have
Moriarty. We got it.
I love that we have that version of that character in Forever.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's really great.
Yeah.
So what surprised me was he goes home and he talks to Abe and he's like, Abe's like, we have to do what we've always done. We have to run. And then, or we have to tell someone. Yeah. And I thought he changed and he wasn't going to run anymore. And then he's like, no, we're running. You're right. So it was a quick, because I feel like over these episodes, he's developed friendships and he's changed and wanting to have a stake somewhere and not want to run anymore. But that just went away real quick. Those passports were out real quick.
But you're in danger. There's somebody really smart that's coming after you, and you're gonna leave your passports by the front door that's unlocked.
I thought about that.
I was when I'm going on a trip, my passports don't even leave my hand until I'm on the plane.
No.
Or back from the trip.
Yeah, good point. But he's packing, and someone walks in, and they want you to think it's Adam. I'm like, no, it's not Adam. It's too easy.
You called it.
You called Joe.
And Joe walks in, and that's when she discovers him holding the murder weapon, and she asks him as a friend, tell me what's going on. And then it kind of cut to the next scene, which we'll get to. But I thought maybe he told her, and then in the next scene they had a master plan of how to cover it. But I don't think that happened. Now seeing the whole episode, I don't think that happened.
Right, because they're sitting at the conference table with everybody, and she gives them a look, kind of okay, say what we practiced. But really, it was just.
It could still happen. We could still have a flashback to
maybe
them in wherever he lives in the basement of what went down. I don't know.
I feel once you tell, there's just going to be so dramatic. We don't even know what's coming. I wonder what
she's going to be like, we need to go get some of this really old whiskey that you drink all the time.
I'm going to need a couple bottles. So yeah, they're at the conference table with Lieutenant Reece, Hanson, and Joe, and he tells them he has a stalker. He's had him for a while.
And again, Lieutenant Reece's face.
You don't know what she's going to do.
Exactly.
And so when she leans over and says, Henry, I thought she was going to say, you are now under arrest.
You did think that.
Yeah. But then she's like, we're going to catch this.
We got him.
SOB. Yeah.
I mean, basically.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what she said specifically. But then she turns to him and goes, I know you've been under a lot of stress, but we need an autopsy on this latest victim. And that's when they kind of connect both victims because they both have a vaccine. I think it's, I don't know,
hepatitis
B. It's usually, they describe it as, doctors usually get it, but a regular person wouldn't just have it. So, like, where did these guys work? And they trace it back to Bellevue, which is is it a mental hospital?
It's a psychiatric
ward. That's where he saw the therapist, where Dr. Morgan saw the therapist earlier in the episode. Apparently, the two victims were in a scuffle with one patient, and they wouldn't reveal the patient info to Martinez because they needed, all that legal stuff. So Henry goes to Dr. Farber, the creepy therapist, for a little favor. And thinking in my mind, I'm like, how does he not catch on to these? Like, how did he not catch on to him? But I guess it goes back to he's just under so much stress. He's not, like, himself.
Like, if Peg is catching on, Henry
should be catching on.
I mean, I'm always like, la, la, la.
I guess you wouldn't think that the person you're standing in front of is that person who's been calling you. I guess it's like too obvious for him. He couldn't even
like
think about
hiding
it,
in plain sight.
Yeah, because this guy's been hiding behind his phone. Like, look outside. Like, okay, show your face now. What you did. But yeah, we'll get into that.
I honestly, I have nightmares about things like this where,
I know.
Somebody's the mole or somebody's like the bad guy and they pretend to be somebody you're not. I think that is the scariest thing. It really is. I got goosebumps all over when I felt it.
Like, we have to tell you something, Pegah. We sent Kanika here to spy on you while we were
She's
gone.
not who she says she is.
Her name is actually Martha.
Yeah, Martha. Yeah.
That's a scary name.
That is.
Dr. Farber agrees to help them.
Of course.
Of course he does.
One
And
British guy to another? That's not like,
Of
is that
course.
solid break the law logic?
And isn't there client-patient
and
confidentiality?
you'd think Joe would be like, if we got this evidence illegally, we wouldn't be able to use it in court. So
Yeah.
what were you
But again,
thinking?
They're totally breaking the laws in here. They don't even
It's
care.
fine. The employee or the patient that both victims got in a little scuffle with was this Clark Walker.
Bunny ears.
If you're listening at home, bunny ears.
Clark Walker.
And he thought he was immortal. Like, his file that Dr. Farber reads says he's immortal, and he's like, I don't
Now,
know.
if Dr. Farber was treating him, he could have planted that to get him to do
Oh, he
his
totally did.
deeds.
Yeah.
Obviously.
He totally did.
He made the guy even more insane by being his therapist.
Well, that's why I questioned. I go, is he his therapist too? But he goes,
Or whoever he hired, yeah.
maybe he hired someone because he was supposed to be in a session right then. So if Dr. Farber was seeing Clark Walker, it was like weird. But I know it's like, he was just playing this whole situation because Martinez locks all the doors, and this Clark Walker fella gets out right away. So he gets away.
And I loved how they lock it down because I didn't get a close look because it happened very fast, but it looks like she tapped something on the monitor. She's like, lock it down.
It's the
Lock
red,
it down.
lockdown button. Yeah.
That's cool,
There's like a
actually.
specific button for that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I think so.
What did she
Imagine, like,
know?
you're checking in and you're like, we're going to stay.
What does this button do?
It was so accessible from the other side.
Right.
Yeah, usually it's
I don't know.
underneath a desk
I'm gonna go
somewhere or
Yeah.
something.
I'm going to go visit a psychiatric ward and see what
Yeah, I don't think it's that easy.
Yeah, they're going to lock me down.
Yeah, they're like,
woman.
do you need to be here?
They're like, this button is just like the backspace.
What are you trying to do?
Get her in a straight
Escape.
jacket.
What are you doing?
But the look on Henry's face when he gets away is just horrible. He thinks he's so close, and yet again he's gotten away.
But from the back, him running, it looked just like the therapist. Right?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
So I
Like the haircut.
There was
I thought he was a little taller, but everything else looked the same.
so
Yeah.
I thought he was just making this guy up, and he was both people.
For that split second, I thought that they were going to go back to the therapist office and he was going to be gone, and then Henry was going to put it together, but that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. No, Henry goes home and scares me half to death because I don't know where Abe is. And we all know
Music playing. Really
I love
loudly.
Abe, and there's this really loud music playing, and no one knows what's going on.
Oh my gosh. I seriously was so scared for him.
I'm like, no, there's no way. They're not going to kill Abe. No, because we love him too much. Because if
please
this isn't
don't
Game
do
of
that.
Thrones, they're not just going to kill anyone.
The main character. Off with his head.
But I'd be really upset.
Please don't do it. Please don't.
Don't do it, please.
Writers don't get any ideas.
No.
It's not cool.
Abe's alive forever.
Basically.
Yes.
Forever.
And ever.
Did we use that song
Yes.
yet? Okay, just making sure.
We're going to have to start repeating soon. But
We
viewers,
will.
you guys can tell us.
We need more songs.
Yeah,
Tell us some
ideas.
suggestions.
Yes. Tweet us, leave it on YouTube, whatever you
As you
got.
have been, and that's been wonderful. But
Yeah.
we need more.
We need more. So he takes, turns the music off, and Clark Walker walks in, and it's a weird interaction because he like lays his sword in front of him and says, "Kill me." I didn't really know what to make of it.
And the voice was weird. It was like, I don't
Voice
know.
was off.
It was.
Yeah,
sounded
he
like
was
an
talking just
ADR.
low enough to where we can't really put our foot on it. Like,
Yeah.
is it him or is it not?
Yeah, and it was not typical of Adam's behavior for
Yeah, exactly.
Adam to come in and say,
Kill
me.
Like he wouldn't surrender like that.
Right. That's why I didn't get what was going on. And then once we realized, I was like, did Dr. Farber or Adam like condition him to do that? Or
Well, okay,
Because
so
he
didn't he
thinks
say that
He was already crazy, right? And he was already out killing or.
Well, the guy was a serial killer or something of that
Yeah.
sort, and he was convinced he also was immortal. So he's like, go to this guy, he'll kill you, and you will come back. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry. Okay.
Yeah, but
Obviously Henry doesn't just kill him with the sword. He has a little scuffle, and he does end up killing him because he's being attacked, and he thinks it is Adam. So it's not like he's killing a man because he knows Adam can't die. But when the body doesn't disappear, it's not
Cue
him.
freak out moment number 5.
And
Yeah.
just the
whatever.
scene before that, Detective Martinez was like, Henry, you're not a killer. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, he's like,
And then he's a killer. But that's been Adam's kind of mission all along, to have Henry, because he's like, after so many years you get
Exactly.
bored, and the biggest rush is killing someone, and
Right.
you've never done that, so I'm going to basically get you to kill someone. Which is,
I wonder if he's gonna get him to do more things. That's crazy.
I'm maybe.
Sounds like a prediction.
Sounds definitely like a prediction. So Joe and him have a really sweet moment at the end when all the MVP.
He touched his hand.
Yes. Just says, I'm here for you. Again, foreshadowing that she's going to be the first to know. Because if you ever need someone to talk, I'm here. Because we all agree she's going to be the first.
I still think
She thinks
Lucas,
yeah,
but
Oh, you think Lucas?
Lucas on
Definitely.
accident.
yeah.
All right.
I don't tr-
we're
I
not
don't-
even in predictions yet.
I
so-
don't trust. Yeah. Okay.
We're jumping ahead. Okay, and then the phone rings. Everyone knows it's Adam. But I did not think, at the beginning of the episode, I just want to see his face. And we were like, in the last seconds, I'm like, we all know it's him. We're going to hear him again. I did not think we'd see see the official reveal. We all had an idea that it was the therapist, but the confirmation. Did you think that was going to happen?
No, I didn't. But can I backtrack really
Oh, yeah.
quick? I loved the part where Hanson comes into the, I guess, crime scene now, and the other cop is trying to ask Henry questions, and he goes, "He'll talk to us when he's ready. Like he's one of us." And I was like,
Part of the team.
He's part of the team.
yeah, like the first time we see Hanson really kind of taking Henry under his wing and like considering him a part of the family, because every other time he's really annoyed by him or like
Yeah.
Right.
So I
Now
thought
he's
that
just
was
like
cute.
playing it as a game, because like when Detective Hanson like finds something out, he like basically just comes to Joe. He's like, "Yeah, but Henry already told you that, right?" So it's more just like he's accepted it.
But they're turning into a right little Scooby gang.
Yeah,
I know.
Like solving crimes,
Totally.
working together. It's great.
I love it.
But to go back, I didn't think we were going to see his actual face. I thought, because I looked at the time, remember we were watching, I'm like, we have 6 minutes. What are they going to do in 6 minutes? I did not think that we
What
would
about
see
you guys?
Adam.
Oh, I totally thought
it was coming.
Yeah?
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
And the way he
it's the
went in and out of the light.
yeah, it was very creepy.
That was so
The creepiest way they revealed his face.
so creepy.
It was so creepy. And did he say like "Merry Christmas"? Doctor, you're like,
I
was
did
like,
like the
what-
music playing though. It was "Have Yourself a Merry Christmas." That was nice.
yeah. Well,
Totally
a creeper
counteracted
is
with the
like
creepiness
in the
of Adam.
window.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like
He's like,
creepiness.
that's why you hide. He's like, nah, man, look outside.
I'm right here.
I'm right here.
Here's my face. All right. Well, I think we can all agree that was a really, really, really good episode.
That was like bravo to the writers.
It kept us on, definitely kept us on the edge of our seats. And now we have to sadly wait until January 6th for new episodes, but we will get there. And before we get into predictions, I just want to remind you guys to go on iTunes and listen to our show. AfterBuzz TV has so many other shows. Give us 5 stars. You can also watch our shows on YouTube. Leave us comments. Like Z said, we want more songs with Forever in it. If you have any suggestions or comments or questions, we all look at those comments.
We love the discussions and questions and point out things that maybe we didn't point out.
There's so much going on. I have like pages of notes. I'm sure I missed something. So definitely let us know. But now let's get into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Dun, 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 dun.
Me first?
You first.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Going around the horn here.
Let's think. Okay, so what I was saying was that Adam making him do more things, maybe it leads Henry to tell someone about a secret. So maybe he tells, I think he definitely tells Detective Martinez. Number 1. Number 2. What else? We're going to see more
We
personal
can come back to
sides.
you.
No. I think something's going to be revealed about her personal life, Martinez. It's going to make them
More
get
stuff.
them, get her and Henry closer, and they're definitely going to have a little love affair.
A little more
and I want
touching. That little touch
Yeah,
lingered
I-
a little bit.
Yeah, they're
little
definitely
bit
going to get
lingered.
closer, and that's what I want. So
Okay.
The linger finger
You
touch.
want some linger?
Linger finger.
linger finger.
Who's the creeper now?
I know.
But I want some love.
The creeper.
Why did I get stuck sitting next to her?
The mole.
See, you were worried about us. We need to worry about you.
Okay, so as far as Henry and Adam, I think that Henry's going to take a more proactive approach towards it because he was passive, like, hey man, leave me alone. Hey, no,
Yeah.
I'm not interested. No, now he came into his home and messed with his pack because now he's part of a family, whether he wanted it or not. He's now part of the NYPD family.
Right.
So he's gonna step up and become a little more aggressive. And if he isn't, then the mama bears are going to come in.
All right.
Mama bears are going to take over and be like, stop messing with our boy, even though he's crazy.
I'm going to go a complete 180 and say
Good.
that, okay, so Adam was kind of acting up just so he can prove a point, maybe, just to get Henry's attention, just to prove that he's immortal as well. But I think now that he has Henry's attention, he may not be as bad as we think. Like, maybe he just
Just
wants...
gonna have tea together?
No, but, like, maybe he just wants
pretty sure
a
he's kind of
friend.
insane.
He may be insane, but, like, Henry's the only other person that he knows of that is like him. So maybe he just wants, I don't know, I don't want to say a friend.
See, when I make
but
a friend, I don't be like, I want to kill you. I want you to kill this guy.
But I
who
can
knows?
see him
that's his
maybe in the
way.
future, like, having a second thought when he's trying to, like, torture him at some point. Like, wait, I was here at one point?
Right. I mean, because what's the worst he could do to Henry? Kill him? Okay, he's going to come back. Like, what is the worst that he can do?
Reveal
I'd
the
like to
secret.
start-
They'll
Yeah,
be
that's
frenemies.
Frenemies.
They'll be frenemies.
Hashtag frenemies.
true. Tell me, like Regina George. But yeah, I think Adam won't be as bad as we think.
All right.
Okay.
What else? I feel like you guys have covered everything.
I'm just thinking, Adam as Regina George, he's like, oh my gosh, I totally love your 18th century sword. Oh my God, that's the ugliest sword I've ever seen.
Oh my God, we need to have like a Twitter handle that like completely uses forever characters,
Forever
but
frenemies.
yes,
Hashtag forever frenemies.
we'll start it. Speaking of hashtags, we still haven't seen Donnie sing,
Oh, please,
so
can
I would like that to happen in the new year.
Yep.
I mean, I'm hoping. I think we got a lot of Adam because this was the finale, and I was so happy to get more of that story developed. But I think it's definitely going to go back to like a smaller storyline in the upcoming episodes and get back to more of a procedural. And then when the finale comes, they'll bring it out again. But yeah, I think he's going to be more proactive. He's not going to just sit by anymore because Adam, he knows who he is. He's kind of like on the same level now. Like, I know who you are, you know who I am. Like, let's play this game you want to play. So we'll see. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, for sure.
2015 is going to be great.
More forever. We're so excited. Where can the lovely people find you guys on social media?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kanika Lal.
You can find me on all social media at Marielou Mandl, MarieLouMandl.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Pegah Rad.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Aquillano. That's Aquillano. It's a really hard last name. I'm sorry.
We like to spell our name.
Yes, we do.
Guys, happy holidays to all of our viewers.
Have a great holiday, and we'll see you back here January 6th, same time, same place. Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.